All right, I think I finally did it. OBS looks to be running. Does this show up? Hold on. Gotta 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 do the tests just to see if it picks it up. I'm so happy. Oh, it took so long. Okay, so I got my computer is not set up for recording and drawing and tabs. I'm gonna need a new computer at some point so I can actually use it for all the things I want to use it for. Oh well. Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, still haven't figured out the setup necessary for all of the music stuff because I do want to do that because it's really fun just going through all the settings and seeing what I find. It's great. It's wonderful. Are we on? Oh yay! Let's go. So not a lot of. Hold on, I had to figure out how to situate without like bumping my mic and everything. Okay, great. We're in. We're locked in. Okay. It only took like 5 hours to figure out how to do the YouTube thing. Good job, Vaughn. Good job. Okay. Yeah. So I was going through some stuff and I was realizing how wacky, the past few weeks have been because it's been a wacky ride, man. It's been great. It's been wonderful, and a lot of things have been happening. Right. One of the things is like, hey, you're like actually doing the YouTube stuff and enjoying it, and it's that in and of itself is crazy because it's like, hey, you're like actually doing things. That's good for you. Well played. Well done. So thank you. I appreciate that. I'm in a very Star Wars mood right now, actually, because they have a lot of drawable characters. Their characters are very, very drawable. So right now I'm doing a battle droid, as you do when you get into the Star Wars mood. It's a ton of fun. They just their profiles are great. Super recognizable. Super well done. Props to whoever ended up designing them because man, it's like really obvious when you're finally down there that you're like, oh yeah, that's a droid from Star Wars. And if you haven't seen Star Wars, you still probably recognize the droid, which is like well played. That's some brand recognition right there. Anyway, so a bunch of stuff has been happening. It's been great. I finally successfully got my Forge Cast whatnots done. I don't know if I've ever talked about that on the channel or not, but one of the things that I like to do in my spare time with my cousin is cast metal. It's great. It's a ton of fun. We do like jewelry and whatnot. It's great. So we like do homemade jewelry stuffs, which is awesome. It took us a while to figure out how to do it, and now we're doing it. So that's a ton of fun. That stuff finally worked out. It took a while. It was great. Now that I'm starting to get a hang of this OBS whatnots, it still hates me. We got a love-hate relationship going on here. So, we'll see how long that lasts. And so we'll see. we'll see if that stays up because OBS is it works. It does what I need it to do, but it also like doesn't because it's not easy. And it like sometimes does the things, sometimes doesn't. It still doesn't want to work with my my computer. I mean my keyboard stuff because I want to do an OBS setup so that you can like see the keys that I'm pressing. But I might have to do some other thing for that. I might look up on YouTube at some point how they do their thing where it shows how you're I don't know if that's big enough. I'm just happy that like I can draw and talk at the same time. Skills. Life goals right there. Just draw and talk. That's all I need. The bare minimum necessary amount of multitasking to be able to get a task done while talking. Very important, very necessary. Anyway, so things have been going great. It's wonderful. I have the downside of it though is that I've been doing so many things. I haven't been sleeping a lot, and part of that is just because I have like a lot of things in the works right now that need like a lot of deadlines coming up. They have like some sort of I have a lot of deadlines coming up, and so I just need to make sure that I hit all of the deadlines that I'm going for. That's droid-y enough. That looks like a droid. If it looks like a droid and it talks like a droid, roger, then it must be a droid. So, just great. It's a droid. Anyway, I just lose all audience retention on that bit. Yeah, it's droidy. That's droidian enough. Anyway, yeah, so just a bunch of different things. Star Wars designs have this interesting boxy shape for the chests, and I don't know. It's like this kind of boxy shape, like that. And I don't know if I'm like a big fan of it or not, because they have like this under rib most of the time, that connects to like this sort of boxy, like actual box shape. And I was noticing this when I was doing the Clone Trooper piece, but it's really interesting how it does this. I struggle with torsos a bit. Torsos are a hard one to do. Sorry, I'm rambling again. I tend to do that when I'm focusing on, many things. But they have this like interesting boxy shape, and I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not. It's not the worst. I struggle with torsos a bit, so it makes it nice, So it has like this nice feel to it when it comes to torsos. But it also really doesn't feel very organic, which makes sense because Star Wars has like this somewhat brutalistic setup in their art styles, which is interesting. They try to go a lot more. It's like very brutalistic and boxy for all of the robots and whatnot. They have these weird boxy heads and whatnot, and like the antenna and the backpacks, and then just like circle and foot, and this is their legs, right? So like that's believe it or not, that's a droid, close enough to it. And then they have like these flowy capes and whatnot for their little Jedi people. So you'll have like a little Jedi boy with their big ears, and then hold on, I'm getting really into this. So they have their little Jedi boy with their big ears, and they're like really human-like shapes, with all their stuff, their human knees and whatnot, and their actual shoes. That's definitely a shoe. Don't question it. But their capes tend to do like this interesting flowy bit. And so they have this like really humanistic feel with the Jedi, and then they're like little laser swords. right? Anyway, they feel very humanistic on this side and like really, really robotic on this side. And I think that that's like a heavy purpose. But even the stormtroopers, right? So like the clone troopers, when you're looking at Clone War stuff, the clone troopers also have this like semi-brutalistic shape, very similar to this, where they have like some sort of chest plate that goes like this. I just drew it recently, so it's like somewhat in my head. They have like a really brutalistic chest plate that has like these really sharp edges in it, and then it goes around like that. Anyway, so their chest plate is like really like also super brutalistic. Anyway, which is interesting because it's like, okay, but they're the good guys, so you want them like less brutalistic. So what they did is they added like little designs and whatnot on their helmets to make them more personable, but also still part of the masses. So you have like the really humanistic, super easy to like, what would the word be? It would be like interface with Jedi's, right? With their, you know, force powers and their main character syndromes and their flowy capes and robes and whatnot. And then you have like really heavy brutalistic droids, right? Like this super, you got like this kind of design here, this piece back here. They have some sort of wire that goes out the back. So they have a wire that goes up out the back that they use to radio and all the stuff. This is actually their, I believe in universe, this is like their radio tower. So if you disconnect them from this, they can no longer have orders. But I'm not entirely sure. It's been like years since I've seen Star Wars. But you have like this really heavy roboticness here, and then like super organic here, which is, and that kind of like matches the way in which like the Sith versus the Jedi tend to go, where it's like super heavy, brutalistic, like harsh standards, sharp edges, harsh lines, and then like really organic with the flow kind of thing when you're talking about Jedi. Yeah. What was I talking about? I totally lost track. It was yeah. So I it's this week has been a lot of fun. Most of the stuff has gotten done. It's been a very successful week, honestly. It's just one of those, there's upsides and downsides to it, where it's, some of the upsides are, I've achieved all of the quests that I've set myself up for, which is awesome, or at least most of them. I still have a few different quests and whatnot to get, but for the most part, I've achieved all quests that were set out for myself, which is awesome. You love to hear that you've accomplished the things that you wanted to set out for. And then the other part of that, though, is I haven't been taking care of myself as much as I wanted to. And part of that is just because I'm on a bunch of time sensitive things. And I want to continue to do the YouTube stuff on top of that. And that's been like it's hard to have a sleep schedule and YouTube stuff and a job and like, you know, all of the side projects that your cousin wants to bring you in on. So it's like that, it's a lot, and it's not too much, but it is a lot. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't like to, I believe this is all of the episodes of what I'm doing are blurring together, and that's not a good sign. It's like, did I say this? No. Hold on, give me a second. Sorry, I got a phone call I had to answer. But the general setup is something like, I totally forgot what I was talking about. Something like, you know, all of the episodes blurring together. Anyway, it's a ton of fun to be doing all this stuff, and I also don't recommend anyone doing the things that I do, because I am someone who runs off of like always doing something. Hey, doesn't that sound like some sort of... No, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. It would probably be a problem for many people, but like, I can't sit still. I really don't like sitting still. Hey, doesn't that sound like you have some sort of problem? Well, it's not because I don't like sitting still because I can't sit with myself. It's like, I don't like sitting still because there's things that I want to do. So I'm just like always trying to get the things that I want to do done. Droids have like this weird janky like finger setup here where they'll have the fingers like this. If I recall correctly, I don't quite have a reference for this. I'm just kind of going a little bit by eye and memory. Anyway, yeah, that's a short droid arm, but a droid arm nonetheless. Anyway, it's like there's always things to get done, and one of those things that happen to be one of the things to always get done is sleep, because I can just always sleep. Always sleep to be had, and always, you know, things to do in spite of that. I do really... I'm not the kind of person who like avoids sleep or just like workaholic sleep kind of thing. It's just that I like to run off of a large amount of sleep, and I don't always get the large amount of sleep I like to run off of. So there's some pieces with that I run with. Anyway, just basic rambling video. I wanted to check to make sure I could actually get OBS to run properly, and it looks like OBS is running properly, which is great. Anyway, this is the, you know, it's fun squiggles. I was kind of all over the place, but I do enjoy sitting down here and like drawing and chatting and drawing, and not really having like a focused necessary thing to talk about, because it's a ton of fun. So yeah, one of these buttons will turn off OBS. I'll learn one of these days. I'll get there.